Well, good morning or good afternoon. There's lots to talk about. Obviously, the Champions League draw has given Arsenal a round of 16 matchup with Porto. So, welcome back, everybody. First and foremost, let's just start with the Brighton game on Sunday yesterday. I was personally expecting a little more of a fight, I think more of a difficult game from Brighton. It was frustrating at times through the early stages. I thought we probably could have gone ahead early on within the first 20-25 minutes or so, at least in the first half. There's a chance for Odegaard. There's a pretty good chance for Saka as well for that really, really good ball, that classy ball from Odegaard that he played in behind the lines there. I thought Saka could have done a little bit better, in my opinion. But, I was talking to somebody, a friend of mine at the bar. He and I kept agreeing on the fact that it seems like this game was like a page out of the, Arsene Wenger era where it's like we're not allowed to shoot from outside of the box. We know Odegaard is deadly from outside of the box. Saka has shown that as well. Even Gabriel Martinelli, I think so. It was pretty frustrating to see that. Obviously, at the end of the day, a win is a win. But when you look back at games like that and you try to pinpoint what stood out, whether it was good, a player did, you look at stuff like that and you think, we've seen goals scored from all of those players, from ranges, inside the box, outside the box, whatever it may be. And it was frustrating to see that we were sort of trying to walk it in to the net, sort of Wenger era-esque. But that's sort of besides the point. I think, it's funny to say this, but without the Rice performance, Odegaard for me would have been man of the match. I thought he was really, really good, fantastic yesterday. A fully motivated and fully fit Odegaard, I think, is one of the best playmakers in the league. Just the way he can, he's the glue of that team. Actually, some of it. I think Declan Rice certainly. I don't know what else to say about this guy. Even watching him yesterday, you hear the commentator say his name, right? They say Rice, and you look up and you go, Arsenal badge, Arsenal shirt, Emirates Stadium. It's still a little bit surreal that he's still playing for this club. He's just melded in, like he'd been playing there for years, gets along with everyone. The Mikel can't speak highly enough about him, and of course the players love him all the same. So do us fans. I mean, I don't know what else can I say. It's an unbelievable signing, Declan Rice. I can't wait to see him in the round of 16 in the Champions League, so we can get to that now. But before, let me talk about Havertz first. Havertz, of course, I suppose a controversial signing. I think in the summer you saw rumors going around it. I've always been in this sort of field where, like, if Arteta likes him, then he must see something there. And of course, you look at Havertz, didn't get on at Chelsea as was expected. But it's sort of like it seems like a bit of a Chelsea thing. There's a lot of players that just Havertz and Timo Werner are two. I think now you look at Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo. I mean, I can't name all the players that they bought. Obviously, they bought 16 worth of players, but they just seem to shift people on. It doesn't work. They shift them on. Havertz was controversial. Had a really, really rough start. Everybody knows this, right? I mean, there's no point in me pretending like I'm teaching you guys what you already know. But for me, seeing Havertz score that goal yesterday, I think is really going to push him forward. Arteta had been talking about his confidence. Even Havertz in an interview talked about confidence, how important it is, right? And the togetherness of this club, it's so important. When they gave Kai Havertz that penalty all those weeks ago, first of all, it's responsibility to take that on, and then for the players to give him that opportunity to say, look, maybe they've seen a little bit about how, fans and pundits have been saying about him. And maybe they're just out there trying to help him out. I think it's all encompasses the togetherness and the culture around this football club. So, he didn't really kick on after the penalty, a couple goals, but now it's 4 goals in 6 games for Kai Havertz. That goal yesterday, you think about a one-on-one with a goalkeeper, this is a perfect opportunity for a striker, for whoever is one-on-one with the keeper. The keeper is always at a disadvantage. And so sometimes you can get in your own head. It's a mind game, but as long as you pick what you want to do, before you don't think about it too long, you don't take an extra touch. The way Kai Havertz finished that ball, full of confidence, almost chipped it over the goalkeeper. A bit of a 50-50 shot almost. the celebration, it tells you everything. He blows a kiss to the crowd, knee slide, arms out, Jude Bellingham style. It was just brilliant. The players come over, hugged him, and celebrated with him. And it was icing on the cake to beat a Brighton team that, in fairness, are struggling now at the moment. A lot of players out, although we did keep players like not Evan Ferguson. I can't remember his name now. Ferguson, obviously the striker there. I think it is Evan Ferguson. Kept him really quiet. Honestly, I can't remember him getting a single touch on the ball. So that was obviously impressive to keep him quiet. I think De Zerbi also full of praise for Arsenal. And but again, it's a struggling Brighton team. Like I said, a lot of injuries. Lots of injuries for a bunch of teams, of course, but certainly Brighton, the highs that they reached last year, they certainly are not doing as well now. But of course, half the season is left. And just one more thing on Havertz. I was watching AFTV. Stricto had mentioned that what you get from Kai Havertz, it's not creativity, right? He's not a creative player in the sense that you think of like a creative midfield player. Maybe he was a bit more of that at Leverkusen. Certainly Chelsea sort of changed him, and Arteta, I think, is getting the best out of him now in the position that he's playing him in. You need to, like Stricto would say, he's going to be in the right spots. He's going to be there where he needs to be. He's a very, very smart player. His football IQ, I think, is very high. You see a lot of players, Jorginho, talking highly of him. His old Leverkusen coach, I can't remember his name, said the same thing. Actually, it seemed like the Arsene Wenger quote about Ozil. If you're a football fan, you're a Mesut Ozil fan. So some similarities there. I don't know if I would completely go to that degree. I think Ozil is maybe in a bit of a class of his own. But Kai Havertz, the job he does, he's there to sort of hold the ball up, to link the ball up. He's an aerial threat. A bit like Giroud, they do some similar things. The way Giroud would hold up the ball, not a beautiful footballer, obviously. But and by the way, that's my comparison. That's not Stricto, so don't kill me for that. But look, overall, super, super happy for Kai Havertz. And it works out for everybody because now you get the Chelsea fans off of our back, rival fans, pundits even talking about 65 million. Even Stricto himself said that we robbed Chelsea for only spending 65 on Kai Havertz. And it's a relief for everybody, for Kai, for Mikel, for the fans, for the football club in general. And Chelsea are still struggling, by the way. They're doing even worse. Kai Havertz, his 4 goals, he's got more open play goals than Chelsea. So, it's not even worth bragging about, because it's just Chelsea to me. That's the way I see it. So hopefully that gets a lot of people off our backs and off the club's back in general. So just closing up here, Champions League draw, Porto. It's going to be a difficult matchup. Round of 16, knockout football in the Champions League. It's always going to be difficult. You never know what to expect. A team like Porto, they've only lost 4 games all season. They sit in 3rd place in the league, obviously second in their group stage, but again, it's going to be difficult. This is a place, especially when you go away to Porto, big atmosphere, really, really passionate fans. They thrive in ties like this, Porto. You have to remember, Champions League winners, a big club in Europe, always there, always in the Champions League, lots of experience there. And you're looking at some of our players, the majority of our best players, keep in mind, this is not only their first Champions League season, but again, maybe more importantly, their first time in a knockout stage in the Champions League, which obviously those two go together. But you think about Declan Rice, big name, big player, never played in a knockout stage. Of course, he's got his experience in the Conference League. It's Europe, but it's not the same. I think anybody would tell. I think Rice would probably be the first to tell you that. So I don't count that experience. You've got Europa League experience, sure, in the likes of Saka, most of the Arsenal team. But you think of Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka. These are guys, young guys who have not played in the Champions League, not played in the knockout stages. So, when you go away to a place like Porto and you hear the crowd and you see those players, you think about the veterans they have, Pepe. You can be worried about him kicking the shit out of somebody, but you also got to keep in mind this is a multi Champions League winner, experience with Portugal as well, and the coach for Porto. He's not going to be taking this Arsenal side for granted. I think they've got a big team, Porto, and it's going to be a test. It is absolutely going to be a test to get through to the next round. But I think this team can do it. I think it can get over the line. And from then on, it's just beat who's in front of you: Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City. You want to be the best. You beat the best. I mean, everyone has said that before, and it makes sense for a reason. So, guys, I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, I do really appreciate it, and I will see you when I see you.